What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we have a prepper's wet dream, and yes, it does take clock mags. So the Keltec Sub 2000 is not a new firearm. It has been out for a while, and this is kind of the second generation of them. However, it is a very, very funky, unique gun, and I've always had a weird fascination for this gun for some reason. So let's talk about the features, talk about the reliability, the testing, pros, cons, what I think of it overall. Just keep in mind there will be some affiliate links down in the video description. If you want to pick one of these up, hook me up, use those links, and more importantly, hopefully I can find you a good deal. Alright, the most unique thing about this gun is how it folds up. It folds up to a very, very small package. So if you want to use this as a truck gun, a backpack gun, a prepper type gun, whatever, it is a very, very small, compact package. To open it back up, there's a lever here on the back above the brace stock thing, whatever you want to call it. I guess it'd be a stock. You pull that to the rear, and the gun opens right back up. When you want to fold it, the release to fold it is the trigger guard itself. You pull the trigger guard forward, and then the gun breaks in half, and again, small, very, very small, compact package. Like I mentioned in the beginning, it does take Glock mags. This particular one is 9mm, and it takes Glock 19 size magazines or bigger. Now, they have made this gun to take different type of magazines, not only 40 Smith & Wesson, but other brand magazines as well. They've made them in different colors. There's a whole bunch of different versions of this gun. There's a Gen 1, a Gen 2, blah, blah, blah. But this particular one, let's start at the back and we will slide our way forward. The stock, hard plastic stock, it's fine, nothing wrong with it. There's a cutout for a sling right here, and there's also a spot for a QD, quick detach, not QD, but quick detach clip if you want to put a sling on as well. Now, I don't think most people are going to run this stock with a plate carrier, but just know the size and the shape of this particular stock does not play well with plate carriers just because it's so slim. It is adjustable, which is cool. There's a pin in the back here. You pop this pin out and you can slide the stock back and forward. It's not like a quick adjustment, but you can slide it back and forth if you want to. A lot of things on this gun is kind of rough around the edges. It's a utilitarian type gun, so don't expect it to be a high-end, fine finish gun. The charging handle here in the back, it works fine. It's a little on the hard side. You really gotta make sure you have some strength when you pull it to the rear. The cool thing is it does lock to the rear, and you can slap it to send it forward, and it's, dare I say, HK-esque, and just slapping any charging handle is always a lot of fun. So there's no other bolt release on this gun, so when you have it to the rear, you slap it or pull it back to let it go forward, and it does not have a last round hold open, just so you know. As far as the grips, the grip and the rest of the gun, most of the gun is plastic, and it's kind of a slick plastic. If this was my gun, the grip shape and texture, the grip shape and angle is fine, but I would like it a little bit more textured. So I would probably either have somebody stipple this, or even easier, just get a set of Talon grips, slap a set of Talon grips on here. Those squares that are on there are okay, but they are a little bit on the slick side. Right next to the grip, you do have your magazine release. Fine, no problems. It dropped almost all of my magazines freely. There was a really cheap set of magazine, I don't remember which one it was, that it didn't drop freely, but the rest of the magazines dropped freely, no problem. So mag release is good enough. The trigger, let's talk about the trigger. It's not great. It's long, it's heavy, it stacks, the reset's long. It's not the best trigger, but when you're shooting the gun, you don't really notice it, which seems weird to say, but it's true. When I was shooting it, I didn't notice that really heavy, long trigger pull. I'm guessing because it's more of a rifle than it is a pistol, so you don't really notice it as much. But anyway, if you see the take up, there's a bit of take up. You come to a little wall, and then you pull, then you pull, and you pull, and the break, you don't know exactly where it's going to break. It's a bit of a surprise. And then your reset is long. It is a little tactile. It is a little audible, but it is a very, very long trigger pull for sure. Safety, I like. The safety is like a cross bolt safety. You just slide it from the left of the rifle to the right of the rifle. You can use your thumb to turn the safety off, and your trigger finger to put the safety back on. So no issues or complaints with the safety. I mentioned it earlier, but most of this gun is a polymer material. The lower, the kind of upper, or we'll call it the handguard in this case, majority of this gun is a plastic polymer type material. You do have a rail on the top if you want to add some sort of an optic. More on that in a minute. And you have a rail on the bottom here as well. I've seen a lot of people add like an angled foregrip, which I think is a great idea on this gun. I just threw a Surefire and Streamlight. I had a couple different lights on this gun throughout the review just as a reference spot for my hand, but an angled foregrip would be a much better use for this hand guard. Now let's talk about the sights. The sights, like the rest of this gun, is very basic, very utilitarian. I found it very difficult to get my cheek low enough on the stock here to easily see through the sights. Like I had to get really low, and it was really difficult. The front sight's decent because it's a standard AR-15 sight and it is adjustable, so if you need to adjust it, you can do so. The one thing I will say about this gun is the second you put an optic on this gun, it completely changes this gun in the absolute best way possible. The stock sights were fine. I was easily getting hits at 50 yards without even trying, and I know I could have stretched it out even further than that. But the second you put an optic on here, the speed, transitions, because these sights are rough and basic, the optic makes a huge difference, more on this gun than any other gun. The problem is when you have the optic on the top here, you can't close and fold the gun in half like you. That's one of the biggest advantages of this gun. However, there are several companies, I'm drawing a blank on the name, Midwest Gunworks? I'm sorry, I forgot who. Midwest Industries? Anyway, they make an adapter that clips on the bottom and the optic folds over the top of the handguard. When you want to fold the gun in half, you just push the optic out of the way, you fold the gun in half, and then you can bring the optic back to where it was, which is a great addition for this gun. If not that you're going to be shooting 1,000 rounds every single time you take this gun out, but it'd be really nice to have that optic. This gun is just much better when you add an optic. Anyway, also on the handguard on the side here, as you see, there are M-LOK slots as well, so if you want to add a light, a laser, or a doohickey, you are good to go. We will continue to slide on forward and talk about the barrel. The barrel is 16 inches, which makes this a rifle. I think this would be cool if they made it in like a 10-inch barrel pistol version, but that's another story for another day. It has a nitrite finish, and I apologize, I forgot the twist rate. Maybe I didn't even look it up, but if someone knows it, hook me up, drop it down in the comments, because I forgot to look it up. Slacker. It does have a thread protector here out on the end, which is great because the threads are 1/2 by 28, and this would make an awesome host for a suppressor if you're lucky enough to live in a state where you can have suppressors. Unlike me, I live in Rhode Island and I cannot do that. Before we talk about the testing, let's quickly look at the dimensions and the price. It's a fairly affordable rifle. $500-ish, but like a lot of things, it's very tough to quote pricing right now. At the end of 2020, pricing is just absolutely all over the place. It's crazy. The sponsor of today's video also, I will be very quick, it is Prime Armor. Prime Armor makes great quality plate carriers, body armor. Now they have level 3 and level 4 body armor. It is far from the cheapest. It's not like Wish.com body armor, but it's some of the highest quality yet still somewhat affordable body armor and plate carriers out there. If you're looking for something that's really good, definitely consider Prime Armor. The link, discount code, coupon code, all that stuff is down in the video description if you want to pick anything up from my friends at Prime Armor. Alright, testing. I shot this way more than I should have and way more than I intended to. A lot of times I'll bring a firearm to the range and I'll only break it out, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and I'll do quite a bit of shooting over those 2, 3, 4, 5 range sessions. I did this opposite. I brought this to the range at least a dozen times, if not more. I mean, I brought it to the range so many times, and when I went back and looked at the footage and started like putting all my thoughts together, I was like, wow, I shot this a ton. I don't even know, I lost track, but hundreds and hundreds of rounds. And right off the bat, there was 0 malfunctions, 0 failure to fire, 0 failure to feed, no problems whatsoever. We're going to talk a little bit more about reliability, but this particular one was absolutely flawless. I did not have any problems. And I shot probably a dozen different types of ammo, including steel case, aluminum case, some high quality brass. I shot one magazine of hollow points through it just for fun. Some Norma ammo, some MagTech. I mean, just because I had it so long and brought it to the range so many different times, we shot a ton of different ammo. Of course, I threw it in a backpack to see what it was like to take it out of the backpack, open it up, throw a magazine in. That's always fun. I did a little bit of shooting indoors with it as well because I go to an indoor range at least once a week. Most of the shooting I did was outdoors, and I did every type of shooting you could think of. I did a bunch of running and gunning with it. I shot a bunch of steel. Of course, I shot my foam dummies like Walther back there. I always like to shoot my foam dummies. It's always a good time. Magazine exchanges, you name it. I shot it a ton. And like I said, it was good. Now, keep in mind, this is a blowback design. What that means, it's not a gas gun like a traditional AR-15. So it uses the energy from the round that you just shot to send the bolt to the rear, to eject that round, and bring the next one forward. And typically, standard bolt guns are a little heavier on the recoil than like an AR-15 or a roller delay, some sort of a delay blowback system like the CMMG Banshees are. Being the price of this gun is only around $500, I think it's fine. Again, it's a very utilitarian design. Just know, even though it's 9mm, the recoil feels similar to an AR-15. It's about in that same, a standard 5.56 AR-15. It's about that same group. So not that recoil is bad at all. It just the felt recoil is a little bit more on these than some of the high-end AR-15 pistols, pistol caliber carbines, whatever. Again, it's $500. I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong. I just like to make sure you understand, if you're going to get one of these, what you're in for. The reliability that I wanted to talk with. This gun, I did a ton of research, and it seemed the Gen 1 of these, and then when the Gen 2 first came out, it did have a good amount of reliability issues, but it seems over the past couple of years that I read very, very little about issues and saw very, very few issues on this gun. So I wanted to mention it because there was a lot of reliability issues out there, but I believe those have all been addressed, and this thing seems pretty good. I am rambling on and talking, so let's go ahead and finish this review up. What I think of the pros. The biggest pro has to be how small of a package that it folds up into. If you're looking for something for a backpack, truck gun, prepper, whatever, this thing folds up really, really small, compact. It is excellent. The safety is solid. There's a ton of aftermarket support for it. I mean, ton. This gun kind of has a borderline cult type following. As far as cons, I don't know if this is really a con, more of just, again, a word to a warning. If you are going to pick one of these up, then I don't think they're bad guns by any means. They're just very, very utilitarian, and that's how they were designed. It's supposed to be. Don't expect it to be a $3,000 Knight's Armament rifle or however much they cost. I don't even know. It's a $500 gun, and it's great as that prepper backpack type gun. I think overall, especially if you carry a Glock and you have some magazine interchangeability, or if you carry a SIG and you get the SIG version or whatever versions they make, I don't even remember. I think they made a Beretta one as well. I forgot what other ones. But if you carry a gun with those magazines and you also have this as a backup and there's magazine interchangeability, you carry a couple stick mags for worst case scenario, there's no doubt it's much easier to get hits on target with something like this than it is a pistol for 99% of the people out there. I'm sure there'll be one fool in the comment, pistols are easier to shoot than rifles, but most of us out there think rifles are easier to shoot than pistols, and definitely out at a good bit of distance. Let me thank Keltec for sending this out for the review. Very, very nice of them. I always appreciate when companies support me. Again, I don't have a huge channel yet. We're working on that, so their support is greatly appreciated. I don't know if this is just a loaner or if it's for me to keep. I didn't ask, they didn't tell me, so I'm going to ask them if it's something for me to keep or if it's just a loaner. If I am keeping this just for fun, I'm going to trick it out. I'm going to find all the aftermarket support I can possibly get. That optic riser, the swivel that I told you about, we'll put a sling on it, and everything else I can possibly find, and we will make this like the most badass ultimate Keltec Sub 2000. I'll send it to Ocean State Armory. I'll let them paint it and do whatever they want to it, surprise me, and it will be a lot of fun. Speaking of Ocean State Armory, these are the companies who support me with affiliate links, and Ocean State Armory is one of them. They have great Cerakoting laser engraving. The sponsor of today's video, which I already mentioned, was Prime Armor. If you want to get plate carrier body armor, anything like that, definitely check them out. My Patreon supporters are great. Like I said, I shoot way too much, and this is a perfect example of shooting way more rounds through a gun than I needed to for a review, but I like shooting. It's fun. But my Patreon supporters supply a lot of that ammo, so I always like to thank them for their support. I did start a second YouTube channel, YouTube Shorts. Links down in the video description. They're 15 to 60 second videos, and it's really just a backup in case this channel ever gets zapped. Now, as far as social media, I am on Instagram and I am on Facebook. The reason I mention it, if you want to know what I'm reviewing right now in real time before the review comes out on YouTube, those are the two platforms that you can follow me on, and I would appreciate it. All right. More than anything else, I'm done shilling. Thank you guys for watching. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. Every time you guys like, comment, subscribe, enable the bell notifications, anytime you guys do any of that, truly helps me out, and I truly, truly appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace!